Tune in to Good Vibes with Good Vibes Productions. Let the journey begin. Slow down, breathe, and connect with your inner state of calm.
When we make the conscious choice to make good decisions that support our whole being in mind, body, and spirit, we become more energized, healthy, and balanced. Many of us were too busy to make time for complete well-being. However, it doesn't take much to get started. Just a few small, mindful steps in the right direction will be the beginning of a lifelong journey into living a life of wellness, purpose, happiness, and whole being. It could be as simple as reaching for a glass of water instead of the can of Coca-Cola. It could be that you set more boundaries in order to nurture your well-being. Or maybe it's as simple as a 20-minute walk outside, a 10-minute meditation, or just giving yourself permission to take some time out. Wellness should not be something we resort to because we're so exhausted from the constant internal pressure that we put on ourselves, or because we have had a recent health scare. Wellness and whole living, it means taking complete accountability for our actions, failures, and disappointments, and learning how to do things better. It is letting go, it is choosing new, it is disappointing some people, it is making sacrifices for others, it is about choosing the things that matter to us, and doing what's hard, and living in a way that other people won't. It is allowing ourselves to be normal, regular, even unexceptional. It means sacrificing things to obtain the things that are important to us. It means letting go of people-pleasing and having the courage to step up and be assertive, which also requires making peace with the fact that not everyone will like your decision or even you. Wellness has very little to do with fixing yourself, and a whole lot to do with parenting yourself and making active choices for your long-term well-being. It is no longer using your hectic, stressful, busy, and unreasonable life as a justification for self-sabotage in the form of alcohol, sugar, and procrastination. It means being the hero of your life, not the victim. It means no longer choosing a life that looks good over a life that feels good. It is the willingness to let go of some goals to achieve others. It is being honest, even if that means you aren't universally liked. It is meeting your own needs so you're not anxious, overburdened, exhausted, and dependent on others. It is about prioritizing your own self-worth and healing journey, proactively seeking out ways to put all the broken pieces of yourself back together in the most peaceful and positive way. The truth is, you've come into this world with a life purpose, and you have important choices to make. So how do you know when you're taking care of yourself and doing what you are here to do? The answer, it's very simple. You just simply feel good. Today's guest is Karla Perez. Karla is the founder and integrative health coach at sweatygirl.com. In 2018, Karla was diagnosed with breast cancer, and even though she already lived what she would call a healthy life, the diagnosis invited her to go deeper into her own wellness journey. And during this journey, Karla began to thrive. And sweatygirl.com is Karla's platform and sacred offering where she shares the Sweaty Girl method that transformed her life. The Sweaty Girl method is a 4-pillar approach to complete well-being and wholeness, which incorporates the mind, body, and spirit. I really enjoyed meeting up with Karla as we talked about her 4 pillars, which are nutrition, yoga and breath, movement, and well-being. We also talked about resilience, self-care, and the importance of removing negativity. We also went into her upcoming retreat. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that you do also. Thank you for tuning in.
How will you strengthen your body? You will eat nutritious foods, whole foods, good food to make your body absorb nutrients and build strength. So you become resilient to disease, you become resilient to germs, etc. Right? So that's one part. The spirit, you have to be able to let go of negativity, release resentment, release anything that doesn't serve you, and accept love, accept forgiveness. Feeding yourself positive thoughts, positive affirmations, and looking at yourself in the mirror and saying to yourself that you can do those things and you will. And so the more that you feed your body, mind, and spirit these positive things, that's how you can become resilient.
I'm Claire, and this is the Collective podcast. And welcome to Soulful Conversations, where we bring together heart-centered individuals, thought leaders, creatives, change makers, healers and seekers to delve into soulful conversations that steep the soul. Because after all, asking questions, listening, and opening our mind up to the world around us, it has the power to refresh our priorities, renew our perspective, and shift our focus to the things that matter most. So it's so nice to meet you. So thank you for joining me. Well, let's get stuck into it. So Karla, welcome to the Collective podcast. First of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful and excited to be here. So my name is Karla Perez. I was born in El Salvador, raised in Connecticut in the United States. I was always a pretty energetic girl. You know, growing up, I've always had a ton of energy. I've always been kind of athletic my entire life. You know, as I got older, I started to eat clean, or so I thought. I was eating clean and living a healthy life, exercising and eating right. And then I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2018, and that changed my life, if you will. I had a double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction, and I had to have chemotherapy and radiation after the operation. This led me to want to love myself and take care of myself in a deeper way. So I started researching from the minute of my diagnosis how to eat better, how to live better, how to make things better. And so I became an integrative nutrition health coach. Just recently now a breast coach, which I'm really excited about.
The clean eating and that, was that on your radar before you got the cancer, or was that something that you learned a bit more about when you got the cancer diagnosis?
Yeah. No, I actually thought I was eating healthy. You know, I did eat a lot of organic food. I did, you know, look deep into my diet after my diagnosis. And there was definitely some things that I needed to cut out. I definitely had too much sugar in my diet. I love my sweets, you know, as much as I ate right, I still had a lot of sugar. I drank a lot. You know, I had throughout my life, alcohol was just like a big part of my life that had to change. And, you know, I had to make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
I cleaned it up a lot.
Yeah. And did you just sort of look at a lot of things like stress and just your whole lifestyle, I guess, would have taken an overhaul from that journey?
Yes, absolutely. I wondered and I said, well, you know, my eating and my exercising, what I thought was healthy, I still managed to get cancer. What else am I not doing that I need to be doing in order not to have that come back? What is it that I need in my life? And definitely stress management, you know, my well-being, my job that I told you about, I was very high stress. And I've always been such a friendly type of person that I'm always willing to do more for others. And I could never say no. And so sometimes I would just run myself ragged, you know, and it was time for me, I would just collapse. I was just exhausted and depleted, and to live that way, I needed to slow down.
I read somewhere that you did mention that having cancer was a wake-up call for you personally. Can you tell us a little bit about why that might have been?
Yeah, I thought I was a healthy person. And, I think health is more than just eating and more than just exercising. So I really did need to do a deep dive into internally what work I needed to do within myself in order to get better. And truthfully, I was carrying a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of resentment. Those are some of the things that I learned that I needed to release. I needed to let go. I needed to forgive. I needed to accept. I needed to accept people for who they were. I needed to accept myself for who I was, and just really just setting myself free, because I feel like as strong of a person as I feel like I was and I still am, I think those things just got buried deep inside of me. And I think that really affected, that definitely was a component. I just shoved all those feelings down there, and it had to erupt somehow, somewhere. And it did, unfortunately. Yeah.
And because of your journey, and you've learned to thrive through this, you have 4 pillars, I believe: nutrition, yoga and breath, movement, and well-being. Is that correct? Have I covered all of those?
Yes, you've got them correct.
Let's start on nutrition. So from your journey, why do you feel nutrition is important?
Well, nutrition was definitely a crucial part of my recovery. I felt that there was a disconnect, after my surgery, going through my process, going through the doctor's visits before surgery and all that. Not once did any of my doctors ask me what kind of diet I was eating, what I was doing. It was just, okay, let's attack the tumor and let's get rid of it. And an interesting little quick story, when I was in the hospital recovering from my surgery, the nurse brought me this little juice box, tiny, like this. And I had been sweating all night. I think I was fighting an infection, and I was just extremely thirsty, and I was out of water, and she brings me this apple juice. And so it was so cold, I drank it, and it was so refreshing and good. But, they constantly test your vitals, and they're checking everything inside of you to make sure that you're okay. And this was in the middle of the night, probably at like 2, 3 in the morning. And at 7 a.m., I get, the nurses come back in, and the doctors come in. They're like, you're having renal failure. You had renal failure at night. I'm like, what? My kidneys stop functioning? But that can't be, I had not eaten anything because, you don't eat until after a certain amount of time. They're just giving you fluid, So the sugar, I asked to see one of the juice boxes, to bring me a juice box. And this little box like this had 37 grams of sugar. And I thought to myself, why would they give a cancer patient something that's so laden with sugar? And so I said, well, there's a disconnect here, from the medical doctor, the hospital and all of that, not pinpointing, and then the actual person. So I decided to take it upon myself to say, okay, what is going to be best for me and my body to recover? And so I dove in, there was so much information on the internet, and, it was really kind of hard to pinpoint. But what I felt for me, what resonated with me at the time was to eat a fully plant-based diet. I went completely vegan. I didn't eat any animal protein. I was very, very, very strict. That's one of my characteristics. When I get something in my head, it's just like there. I'm a little bit of a hardhead that way. But in this case, it worked for me, because I didn't touch anything that was processed. I didn't touch anything that had added sugar. I was scared, I was very scared. I just wanted to get through it. And I figured my nutrition is going to be my shield. This is going to protect me. So I just loaded my body with tons of greens, tons of vegetables, lots and lots of, just whole food, whole fruit, not so much fruits, but whole vegetables. I ate a lot of vegetables, cooked, raw. Thankfully, I feel like I bounced back pretty quick. I was in pretty good physical state before this, but I feel like the tweaks that I did with the nutrition really helped my body get strong and get through chemo and radiation. I feel like everything that I did supplement a lot too. And so I thought nutrition is definitely a component, in everybody's life. You have to eat right. You have to eat the right things, because food can be your healing power, or it can make you ill, if you eat the wrong foods. Actually, I'm working with a registered dietitian now, and we're going to put together a program. She's also a breast cancer survivor, so I'm very happy to be working with her.
Yeah.
And we're going to put together a nutrition program that will be offered through my website, but it's going to be backed up with a registered dietitian, specifically for cancer patients or people that are recovering from cancer. I thought plants was good enough for me, just for me, but as I'm learning from her, your body really needs a balanced meal. So you do need some animal protein, because you get amino acids and stuff just from the animal kingdom that your body does need to rebuild muscle and stuff. So I'm very happy to be working with her now.
I think our bodies tell us what we need. We just have that knowing, don't we? It's really interesting. And I find, I don't know, on your journey, did you find when you started eating these whole foods, you felt better? But it's like your body's singing almost. It's like singing. It's hard to explain, And
it's thanking you for giving it some goodness, right?
It is. And even spiritually, you become more connected. Your whole life changes on every level. It's really interesting, the nutrition thing. What does yoga and breath mean to you?
Yoga means to me that it's my time for my meditation. It's my time to go within and align myself with breath while doing the asanas. Yoga has become so important in my life. It's a time where I can unplug from the outside world and plug into myself. It's quite interesting, yoga, because people would talk about this before I practiced it. And I'm like, what are they talking about? What is that? And that's the best way I can explain it to you. You have to practice it to really know what the mystery of it is. It's really amazing. And yoga has taught me to slow down the breath. Right? Because you do pranayama breath, ocean sound breath. And that helps me connect even more to myself on the mat and then off the mat. It just brings such calmness into my body, into my system, into myself. And it helps me, the more I practice it, just helps me to bring that calmness outside of my mat, into the world. So it helps me connect. It brings balance into my life.
Yeah. And it helps you, your emotional state of being, helps you set boundaries. It helps all that internal frenzy that can go on in our busy world. Yes, because the breath does help you. It helps you connect with your parasympathetic nervous system, which is part of the central nervous system that tells your body it's time to rest and digest. So you're like in this calm state. It helps. If you're anxious, it helps you calm down, because you don't want your body to be in fight or flight mode all the time, right? That causes stress, and then here comes all the things that come with all that. So it definitely has brought balance and calmness into my life, for sure. And how often do you practice yoga now? Would you practice that once a day, twice a day, a couple times a week?
Once a day, and then I practice maybe 5 times a week.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. We are just going to take a short break and hear from today's podcast sponsor.
Setting aside time for a little self-care is a sacred offering to ourselves and the world we live in. When we feel our best, we become our best. Today's podcast is proudly brought to you by Botanical Trader, a small business that specializes in making natural, ethical, sustainable, cruelty-free, and plant-based self-care products for the mind, body, spirit, and home. Handmade in small batches from the heart of the Snowy Mountains, Australia, where the self-care packages and products are mindfully curated, designed to take you on a healing escape and sensory journey that will bring support, comfort, balance, and a little something special to your day. Botanical Trader creates premium botanical remedies that will awaken the senses while inviting the mind and body to ground, heal, and renew. Save 15% off your next order by going to botanicaltrader.com and entering the code ONCollective15. After a day in self-care, you will feel your breath expand, your heart lift, the mind calm, and the link to your true nature cleansed.
You talk a lot about movement as well. So when you talk about movement as far as exercise, physical exercise, there are a lot of people that don't like to run and that. In your methodology, do you think it needs to be hard movement or is a gentle walk okay?
Yes. There is no right or wrong movement. You have to go with each individual and what they want to do or can do, as I'm going to be focusing just on cancer patients. Mm-hmm. There's phases of, the cancer journey. So if you're someone that's been working out before, you've just been not diagnosed and you're going to get an operation or, maybe you're not going to get operated, you're just going to go through treatment and you can continue to work out, your body will let you know when it's time to slow down, Mm-hmm. So then that's when I suggest if you can still move, use your arms, that's when I suggest yoga, gentle yoga, mm-hmm. because you're still moving your body. And if perhaps you're not ready for that, walking is great. Walking is the best thing. You don't have to pay anything. You walk outside, connect with nature, get some sun. If it's cold, you still connect with nature, So it just depends where the person is at. I was very active. I'm still very active. And for me, not being able to work out for the time from my operation, I was like going nuts, so I'd go for walks and stuff. But then once I was cleared, you still have to ease into it. So I did cycling because I could use my legs a lot, but not so much my arms. And then little by little, I just gauged where I could. And I started with yoga again. And once I felt like I could put, stress on my hands and my shoulders, my chest, then I went into it and I stuck with yoga. I still love doing some weightlifting. And so it just depends on the person. If they're ready for a little more, if they want to try to work out with weights or just body weights, then we explore everything. Even dancing, people are like, well, I don't want to, or, get up, get your broom when you're cleaning your house, put a little music, and that's movement too, clean your yard, that's movement too. It doesn't have to be a specific workout routine, if you will, as long as you keep your body moving. The more you move, the better your body feels, and you prevent injury, you prevent aging, the longer you sit still, the worse it is, as you get older, you get up and everything's like snap, crackle, pop,
Yeah.
If you keep moving, that becomes less.
Your last pillar in your program is well-being. That's a big pillar in the Sweaty Girl method. What does well-being mean to you?
Well, I think well-being to me means being your authentic self. It means to speak your truth no matter what. It means being able to say no to someone. It means you may have to disagree. It means taking time out for yourself to do things that you love and enjoy that bring you happiness. It means to keep doing whatever will keep your mind, body, and spirit at ease. That's what well-being means to me.
And you do talk a little bit about self-care, and I think that's a very important element of your Sweaty Girl method. Can you tell us a little bit maybe what self-care looks like?
So, self-care is something that should be an ongoing practice, for your overall health and well-being. It's crucial for you to slow down. I mean, I couldn't have seen it better myself, It's crucial for you to stop and breathe and slow down your pace. Life can be very chaotic. Life can't be all mellow all the time, right? But it's being able to find the time to center yourself and bring the calmness into your system, into your central nervous system. Like I said, your parasympathetic nervous system is when you rest and digest. If you're anxious, that's your sympathetic nervous system. That's you getting ready to fight, flight, let's go. But when we're living under stress, you're constantly on this side, and you can't really you can't live on each extreme. You kind of have to follow and find the balance between the two. You have to be a little selfish, sometimes. You have to take time for yourself. It's just how it's got to be. No matter what your busy schedule is, you have to make time. Whether that means taking 5 minutes from your day, just looking outside, or taking a bath, or whatever it is that you need. It's got to be practiced daily, on the daily. Show yourself extra love daily. Love yourself all the time, but always show yourself extra love here and there.
Isn't it important? It's so important. And I think if we don't do it, life will make us do it, whether it's through a disease or we get sick or something will show up to make us stop and take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
I know you're a little bit about self-care rituals. So can you share maybe 3 of your favorite self-care rituals?
Yes. Well, I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say it. I take that back. I have to throw it in, but yoga, my hot yoga practice is my ritual, my self-care ritual. Without it, it's like I'm off, I need to have it. I just need to connect. That's part of my daily. That's one of my self-care practices. I also love making homemade chai.
Yes.
I buy the spices from this company, from the spice capital of India. Kerala is the company. They're out of Atlanta. They're called the Chai Box. Oh my God, the best spices, the best chai I've ever had. And I've looked for a long time for chai, just so good. It's so good. So I love grinding it. I put cardamom, all the spices in there. I love smelling it as I'm boiling it. That's such a self-care ritual for me. It's like the whole making, the brewing, and then pouring it, and then just sipping it and smelling it. That is just fabulous for me.
It's like a meditation, isn't it?
It really
making
is.
the tea.
Yes. And, I also like my alone time. I do like to be alone. I like to disconnect and read a book or read some of my newsletters. I love to read I love to read everything and anything about health and wellness and nutrition and all that. So I have stacks of books, so grab one. Yeah.
I'm the same. I've got, oh my goodness, my book collection is out of control. It is. I think that's one of my favorite rituals too, is reading and the chai as well. Actually, funny, the chai, I saw your comment. You left a comment on one of my things, and that's how I got to know you. And when I read your comment, I just felt this vibe about you, and I was like, it felt really good. And I was like, I have to check out this sweaty girl.
Amazing. That's amazing.
I'm so glad I did.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much.
Something that you talk a little bit about, I've noticed, is resilience. And I find this really interesting. Can you just share what resilience looks like to you?
Yes. So, resilience to me means being strong, but not necessarily or specifically strong. That comes with time. Resilience is your ability to strengthen your mind, spirit, and your body all in one. So how will you strengthen your body? You will eat nutritious foods, whole foods, good food to make your body absorb nutrients and build strength. So you become resilient to disease, you become resilient to germs, etc. Right? So that's one part. it all comes from, that's where all my 4 pillars come. You have to be resilient in these 4 pillars. So for the spirit, you have to be able to let go of negativity, release resentment, release anything that doesn't serve you, and accept love, accept forgiveness, accept good energy. That will build your spirit so that you are resilient to doubtful thoughts, doubtful fears. When you think you want to do something and you dream, you can do it. You have to just tell yourself you can do it and believe in yourself. So the more you feed positive thoughts into yourself, so that's the mind, how you make your mind resilient by feeding yourself positive thoughts, positive affirmation, and looking at yourself in the mirror and saying to yourself that you can do those things and you will. And so the more that you feed your body, mind, and spirit these positive things, you can definitely become resilient to disease. You become resilient to negative energy. You become resilient to, any negativity. So that's how you can become resilient. Just positivity all around.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes you resilient.
So what does a well-lived life mean to you?
Yes. Okay. So a well-lived life means a life full of experiences, a life full of travel and connection with people, good relationships with people, a life full of love and loss and love again, a life where hurt can be turned into love, a life where forgiveness exists and love can prevail, because ultimately life isn't perfect and, we're just walking this road as best as we can. And I think a well-lived life is a life where you can impact someone and just have them feel your love. And if you in any way, shape, or form have hurt someone, then to correct that and make it right for all parties intended. I think that's what a well-lived life is, learning from your mistakes and not repeating them, making the next time better.
What do you believe is the purpose of our life?
Yeah, well, the purpose of our life, that's something that I questioned for many, many years, but I believe now I know it's really to help other people. Our purpose is to be here to support others. No matter what we go through, there's always someone that can benefit from your story, from your teachings, from your love. I feel that that's what our purpose is, to be here for one another. And if you can impact just one life, then, you've lived. But it's about trying to help as many people as you can, and in a way that's good with you and you don't overdo it for yourself, just helping others.
What do you think the definition of the soul is?
Yes, I thought that was an interesting question, I like the question. So I feel that your soul is really your true essence, It's the energy that defines you. It's pure consciousness. It's that feeling inside that we feel when something is right or when something's not right. It's that thought, that voice that makes you say yes or no, that holds you back, but it's the light that lives inside of you that connects you with the people around you. They see your body, but it's the light inside that connects with others. That's what I think your soul is.
Thank you so much, Karla. It's been such a pleasure talking to you and meeting you. We've got a retreat coming up in October, and that looks amazing.
Thank you.
Is this,
yes.
Have you just got the one retreat that you're offering this year so far?
Well, so I am collaborating with two people, Adora Winquist and Patsy Balaki, who's actually my sister. And this is our first retreat together that we're putting together. So, yes, me with them, I am collaborating on this one, but they are also doing another one, which I was a participant on last year. We went to France and we followed Mary Magdalene's steps in the south of France. Such a beautiful experience.
Wow.
So they're going to repeat that. And I may go as a participant again, but I'm not sure yet. But collaborating, yes, this is the first one. It's my first retreat ever, actually, that I'm going to be a co-host. So I'm really excited about it.
And what is it about?
So, we're calling it Divine Feminine Immersion Retreat. So we are inviting women to come. So let me back up and just explain. My sister, Patsy Balaki, is a feng shui expert. And Adora Winquist, she is a modern alchemist and author. She has a company where she makes essential oil blends and different type roll-ons and sprays and everything that helps you align and center, and it goes down to your cellular level. That's her products are really quite amazing. And she wrote a book about how she does her alchemy, and healing from plants and energy. It's a beautiful book. So we're coming together and offering all of our strengths, right? So I will be leading the mornings with yoga, and then I will have workshops on breath, the importance of breath, and nutrition overall for living a resilient life, and more about my pillars and movement. And Adora is going to bring in like a meditation aspect. She is also well-known person who meditates. She's got programs all over all different platforms, So she's going to offer that, and people are going to be able to make their own formula with essential oils to heal whatever elements they want to heal. So that's going to be fun. And Patsy Balaki is going to offer feng shui tips on how to connect feng shui and health, living a healthy life. There's so many different aspects that I didn't even know existed. So, you're going to learn about feng shui and how to clear your space and bring positive energy. So we have a really, really well-rounded and unique program for everybody. We're going to have fire ceremony. We're going to, put our stuff in there that we want to burn and release. And we're going to be in the middle of these beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, eating vegetarian food. It's just going to be amazing.
Wow. And it's three nights, is it?
Yes, October 27th through the 30th. Thursday night and then to Sunday.
Yep. And there's a link on your website, sweatygirl.com, isn't there?
Sweatygirl.com/retreat.
Actually, I was looking at it. I've got family in Canada, and I thought, well, if I can make a trip to Canada, I might book a little sneaky retreat in the States. I was reading it, and I've listened to Adora. I've read a lot of her stuff, and I've got actually Patsy going to be coming on the podcast anyway. Yeah, it just looks beautiful what you guys have put together. It's just got a beautiful energy about it.
Thank you. Oh, we'd love to see you there. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you never know. Amazing. So cross fingers. So besides your retreat, so you've got this retreat, but people can also work with you, can't they? You do a coaching, an online. Can that be remote? Do you do that online and everything as well?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. Most of it is remote, actually. I have people from out of state. I mean, it can be anywhere in the world, you have a connection. Yeah. So the coaching has been wonderful.
You've just got this beautiful energy. I go onto your website and your Instagram, and you just radiate this warmth. So it's been a real pleasure to meet you and talk with you. It really has.
Same here, Claire. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. And I love your website. I love everything that you offer. I was listening to some of those sound meditations and
yes.
the whales, and it's just so beautiful.
Oh.
I'm so happy that we connected.
Yeah.
Now I have something else for my well-being.
Yeah.
Your website.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for tuning in today, and I hope that you have enjoyed today's soulful conversation and that it may have served you in some small way. You can connect with me over at theomcollective.org. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to review and rate. I will be back on Sunday with a meditation or sleep story, and then again on Friday with another soulful conversation. So until next week, stay well, stay safe, and may you live your life with ease. Namaste.
Tune into the Collective podcast every Friday for soulful conversations. Your host Claire will have soul-fueling, soul-steeping, soul-inspiring conversations that will nourish, inspire, educate, and empower.